Hey everyone, it's me, Yan. In this video, we're going to talk about what due diligence is. In the grand scheme of things, conducting due diligence, or DD in short, is exercising an added level of care by investigating or looking deeper into something before you make a decision, like running a background check or doing your own fact-finding. By doing this well, you'll be able to verify the accuracy of the party's information. With investments, term sheets, and with VCs, carrying out due diligence is investigating or reviewing information to confirm facts or details of a deal under consideration. This could include examination of financial and legal records, whether or not the technology being touted is real or not, and even if a company is a real company with an operational team building the business. Although aspects of an audit falls under doing due diligence, this is not a full audit of a company. Due diligence is part and parcel of the financial and business world. So when corporations engage in mergers and acquisitions, they definitely do their due diligence as well. Take Disney, for example. With their high-profile acquisition of Lucasfilm, the Disney side negotiated with George Lucas to allow a small team of theirs to access the Lucasfilm CFO and their data in order for this deal to go through. This is a good practice when both sides want a deal to be made, and is also a case of open collaboration where sellers help to prepare materials for the due diligence process. During this process, it helps the investor also predict and come up with what they feel is a fair valuation for the seller. Further examples of items that come up in the due diligence process include checking if your business is actually registered where you say it is. Is your company registered in Taiwan, the British Virgin Islands, or the Caymans, for example? And are there some subsidiaries of the business where the funds you raise could potentially be filtered out to? Are you paying your taxes? Are you paying and treating your employees right? These are all potential checks that needs to be covered under the due diligence process. In addition to this, they will also look at your business plans or strategies for the future, as well as product and technical roadmaps. For decision-making, due diligence is a key factor in determining whether or not you say no to a deal, likely due to disproved information, or yes, where the information was validated or verified. You'll often hear that investors are looking for reasons not to invest. However, do take note that the decision-making process for them will vary based on the circumstances. We will talk more about this in the VC method video. A side note, deals can still go bad after the due diligence is done. This can be for a variety of reasons, but also because that due diligence process was not conducted properly. If it is rushed, or if certain information was not obtained or overlooked, it could lead to a deal going bad in the future. Investors will use the DD process to look at historical records or what has happened in the past in order to predict or forecast for the future. Another thing to remember is that due diligence goes both ways. Yes, a prospective investor will do their due diligence before entering a deal, but on the other side, a startup or company looking for funding should also do their own due diligence on the investor. What is the investor's track record? How hands-on or hands-off are they afterwards? Have they kept their word in the past? It is important to get to know each other's backgrounds, no matter which side of the deal table you are on. So who are the parties that will be involved in this process? Well, of course, the investor and the startup will be involved, but sometimes the VC could also hire an external audit company or lawyers to help with the process. This would be more likely but not guaranteed if the two parties are in different countries, as it then becomes a bit harder for the investor to obtain all the information by themselves. Even then, the hiring of an external company or lawyers is quite rare with early-stage investments. Here in Taiwan, the process is quite transparent, and the government, through the Ministry of Economic Affairs, has maintained a clear corporate register with digitized information, including corporate history and legal disputes. So when would you expect the due diligence process to begin? This may vary depending on the investor or fund that is conducting it, as well as the industry. In most cases, with the definition of due diligence being quite broad, It will begin from the VC side, even at the screening process. Although if a startup is screened out at this stage, it will not proceed further. Following this, if the deal moves forward with a term sheet, they will conduct a full workup of both the business and legal due diligence on the startup. In some sectors, like deep tech or AI, where there is quite a lot of proprietary information involved, a startup will not allow access for the full DD process unless a letter of intent, or LOI, is given by the investor, or a term sheet has been signed. Do note that even when a term sheet or NDA is signed, it is still up to the startup to protect their sensitive information. The DD process may take anywhere from 1 to 3 months to complete. Now that we have an idea of what due diligence is and who the parties involved are, the next video will look into how a VC will conduct this process.